Part 70. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 691. Chapter 691 I'm not afraid of catastrophe. Asterisk. Early the next morning. Mo Yesi and Xiao Mian got up early as they were about to take the earliest flight back to Yunqing. After washing up, the two of them went downstairs to have breakfast, and Mo Yesi sent Xiao Mian to the set. In the car, Mo Yesi turned on the computer and used the half hour on the way to process the files that he had not finished yesterday. Xiao Mian took out her mobile phone and raced against time to browse some entertainment apps. After Mo Yesi finished processing the two documents, he reached out and rubbed his eyebrows. He turned to look at her. Seeing that she was staring at her phone very intently, he also lowered his head. "Do you want me to make one with you now?" Xiao Mian raised her head. "Did you see the video just now?" Yeah. Mo Yesi nodded slightly and raised his lips. "Do you think that's romantic? How about we make up two of them too?" The video that made Xiao Mian call it so romantic just now is a video that has been very popular on a certain app recently. Is a video on how to make a bracelet. In the video, a girl cuts off a section of her hair, then braids it into a red rope, and then puts the braided red rope on her significant other's wrist. Wearing this bracelet with a girl's hair on it, if a man cheats on this girl, he will be in trouble in the future. Many young couples made red strings like this to prove their good relationship with each other, and then posted videos. As soon as Xiao Mian opened the app, she saw several similar ones. She really thought it was quite romantic, that's why she sighed like that. Unexpectedly, Mo Yesi heard it. "Mo Yesi, do you know the special meaning of that bracelet?" Mo Yesi shook his head. "I don't know." "Baby, tell me." Xiao Mian looked into his eyes and said seriously, "That is a bracelet with a girl's hair. If you wear such a bracelet, if you let the other person down one day, you will suffer a terrible disaster. Now, do you still want to knit that bracelet?" "Impossible." Mo Yesi seemed to find it interesting, and raised his eyebrows and repeated. Xiao Mian nodded. "Yes, it will never be restored." He smiled, held her chin and rubbed it gently. "Why, are you scared?" "Xiao Mian. She has nothing to be afraid of. It will be beyond redemption, and it will be beyond redemption. After all, bracelets are made for men to wear." Her lips moved. "I'm afraid of you." "I'm not afraid." Before she could finish speaking, Mo Yesi lowered his head and bit her lips gently. His voice was low and sultry. "I have confidence in myself, and this kind of thing will never happen again on me. So, honey, can you knit one for me too? I also want a bracelet like that, so that even if you are not with me, there will always be something on your body to accompany me." "But, is it too late now?" Xiao Mian looked at the time. "Don't you have to rush to the airport soon? Then change the flight time." In the driver's seat. When Wei Zheng heard that his boss, Mr. Mo, wanted to change the flight time, he endured it again and again, but finally mustered up the courage to remind him, "Ahem, Mr. Mo. It's hard to change the flight time, the next flight is 2 hours later." "That will be in 2 hours." Wei Zheng. That's not what he mainly wanted to express. "Okay." He took a deep breath and plucked up his courage again. "Mr. Mo, there are foreign partners coming today. If you are not here, it would be bad." Mo Yesi frowned. He had almost forgotten about it. If it is a normal partner, it will not be a big problem if he is not there. But this time it's a foreign company. Xiao Mian saw his embarrassment and said proactively, "The company's matters are important, you'd better go back on time." "What about the bracelet?" He really wanted to put it on right away. "I don't have a bracelet right now, why don't I give you this first?" Xiao Mian took off a rubber band from her wrist, took his hand and put it on for him. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 692. Chapter 692 means you are a master. That is a pink rubber band with a bow. At first glance, it looks like something used by women. Xiao Mian raised his wrist and looked at it, then nodded and said, wearing this symbolizes that you are a master. No other woman will have any ideas about you. You can't take it, come down. Mo Yesi lowered his eyes and looked at the small pink rubber band on his wrist. He was pleased by the words you are the owner, and his thin lips raised little by little. Okay, I will keep wearing it. She put this rubber band on him because she was afraid that other women would seduce him while she was away. So, this means she has started to care about him. He is no longer dispensable in her heart. Such knowledge made him feel happy all of a sudden. In the driver's seat, Wei Zheng breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the young madam was so strong that she didn't insist on letting Mr. Mo accompany her regardless of the situation, like those women who are in control of heaven and earth. Otherwise, if she really did this, Mr. Mo would definitely agree to her. At the company, it's even worse. Wei Zheng saw the small pink leather cord on Mo Yesi's wrist in the rearview mirror, and the corner of his mouth twitched, feeling that it was a bit ruined. Mr. Mo, you actually put it on willingly. Moreover, looking at the happy expression on his face, he was not only willing, but also obviously very happy. That is a small pink rubber band. Does Mr. Mo really think it's okay for such a cold-blooded man to wear a leather cord for women on his wrist? Is he still the same Mr. Mo he knew? He is now increasingly doubting whether the real Mo has traveled to another world. The soul in Mr. Mo's body now also comes from another world. Otherwise, why would the difference be so big? The Mr. Mo he met at the beginning was obviously not like this. Asterisk. After arriving at the filming location, Mo Yesi pinned Xiao Mian in the car and kissed her for almost 10 minutes before he let her get out of the car. When she got off the bus, Xiao Mian's legs felt a little weak. Her face was extremely red, and her lips were also extremely red. At first glance, it looks like it has just been loved. She stood on the side of the road and waited for Mo Yesi's car to drive away before turning and walking towards the other road. Just a few steps away, a black Ferrari drove up from behind and slowly stopped beside her. The car door opens. A familiar person came down from inside. Xiao Mian looked at it and took the initiative to say hello, Mr. Tu, good morning. The person who got out of the car was Tu Yuli. When he saw Xiao Mian, he was stunned for a moment. When his eyes fell on her beautiful red and swollen lips, he was stunned again, and then a trace of sadness flashed in his eyes. Yesterday, he was still thinking about whether he should go crazy for love regardless. But today, he didn't even have a chance to go crazy. Looking at the girl in front of him, he still felt his heart flutter. However, he had to restrain this impulse and tell himself again and again in his heart that she already had a master. No matter how much he likes her, he must restrain his feelings and not show them in front of her. Don't let her know. He didn't want to cause trouble to her. But, this is really difficult. Like someone but have to show that you are not moved at all. It is really much more difficult than acting. Good morning to Yuli. I endured the sourness in his heart, hesitated for a moment, and asked casually as if chatting, Miss Xiao, was that man last night, your boyfriend? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 693. Chapter 693. I don't want too many people to know about him. Xiao Mian looked at him in surprise. How did you? Tu Yuli. I thought of what happened last night, with a hint of bitterness in his heart, and his voice was hoarse and obscure. I saw it when you returned to the hotel last night. You should have been asleep at that time, so I didn't know. Your boyfriend is quite good looking, and he matches you very well. Chiao Mian was stunned for a few seconds, remembering that she fell asleep not long after getting in the car last night. When I woke up, it was already the next day. She had no idea what happened after she fell asleep last night. It turns out that Tuyuli I actually met Mo Yesi. Thank you. That person last night was indeed my boyfriend. He came to visit my class, although Chiao Mian would not take the initiative to publicize the fact that she had a boyfriend, but if someone saw it, she would. I don't want to hide it either. Oh, that's how it is. Tuyuli I didn't know why he had to ask Chiao Mian again. Obviously, everyone already knows the answer. I saw it all with my own eyes last night. But he still didn't give up. But he still held on to a glimmer of hope, thinking that the man might be lying. Perhaps, it's a misunderstanding. It wasn't until she confirmed it in person and felt the heartache again that she was finally willing to accept the facts. Ms. Jiao's boyfriend doesn't seem to be an insider. He didn't know why he continued to ask, but he couldn't help it. He wanted to know what kind of man the man who was lucky enough to have her was. Must be very good. With such appearance and demeanor, you can tell that you are an extraordinary person at a glance. Well, he's not from the inside. Is that a businessman? So be it. I wonder what industry Miss Jiao's boyfriend is engaged in. Hearing his questions become more and more detailed, Chiao Mian glanced at him in surprise. Mr. Tu seems to be very interested in my boyfriend. Tu Yuli. Why does he think this sounds weird? No, Miss Jiao, I just... Mr. Tu, I'm sorry, it's not convenient for me to reveal too much about my boyfriend. He is an outsider, and I don't want too many people to know about him, otherwise it will cause trouble to him. Although she thought Tuyuli was a little weird, Chiao Mian didn't think much about it and just politely refused his more in-depth questions. A trace of embarrassment appeared on Tuyuli's face, but he quickly returned to normal and smiled at her. It doesn't matter, I was rude. It's just that I saw Miss Jiao's boyfriend last night with an extraordinary demeanor. He must have an unusual identity, so I just asked a few more questions out of curiosity. Ahem, little Tutu. Mike walked over quietly, looked at Tuyuli with a hateful look, then stretched out his hand to push up the glasses on the bridge of his nose. Be careful of reporters taking secret photos. You are not. I don't know them, but if you are photographed alone with any female artist, you will write a lot of nonsense again. After saying that, he kept a straight face and glared at Chiao Mian with dissatisfaction. Miss Jiao, if you don't want to be scolded to death by Xiao Tutu's fans, I advise you to stay away from our little Tutu. Otherwise, if those wife fans and girlfriend fans find you, they will bite you like a mad dog. I'm telling you this, but it's for your own good. You still have no foundation at all, and offending those fans will not do you any good. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 694. Chapter 694, People don't have that regard for you. Mike, you. Hearing what Mike said, Tuyuli frowned and said with anger, what are you talking about? You will scare her. Am I talking nonsense? Mike sneered, turned his head angrily, and glared at him. Where am I talking nonsense? Don't you know what your fans are like? Get so crazy, even the 18th generation of your ancestors can do it. Bring out the flesh. I told her to stay away from you for her own good. If you think I talk too much, you shouldn't say this to her. Okay, I'll never say it again. After saying that, Mike turned his head to the side with a stern face, looking like he was angry. Tuyuli frowned. Mike, I don't mean to blame you. Mr. Tuesday. Chiao Mian saw that the two of them were unhappy because of her, and she couldn't help feeling a little guilty. She decided that it would be better to leave quickly. Actually, I think what your agent said is right. He is indeed here for it's good for me and it's good for you. I don't want to be regarded by your fans as a newbie who deliberately takes advantage of your popularity, and I'm also afraid that they will misunderstand and do human flesh to me, so, I'll leave first. After Chiao Mian finished speaking, she turned around and trotted away. He ran so fast that he almost lost sight of the person in the blink of an eye. It was as if I was afraid of having anything to do with him. Looking at her quickly disappearing figure, Tu Yuli pursed his lips and looked a little ugly. Other female artists are trying every possible means to catch on to his popularity. But she seemed to be avoiding him. Is it because of her boyfriend that she is so afraid of getting involved with him? She doesn't want her boyfriend to be angry when he sees the scandal. She loves her boyfriend very much, right? He had to admit that he was envious and jealous. Little Tutu, you see, I don't have that kind of thought for you. Mike seemed not to notice Tu Yuli's gloomy expression, and continued to add fuel to the fire. She is in a good relationship with her boyfriend. You shut up. I don't want to, I just want you to recognize the reality. Mike sneered. I told you so much last night, but I think you still didn't listen to much. Huh, just continue with your wishful thinking, and others will. I won't look at you twice. You suffer from the pain of unrequited love every day, but she and her boyfriend are sweet. Mike, I told you to shut up. Okay, if you have some backbone and can afford to take it up and let it go, I won't say anything anymore. But, can you, thinking of how much I talked to him last night, he ended up agreeing well. Today when he saw someone and couldn't help but go to them, Mike got very angry. Spineless. It's so spineless. How could he teach such a spineless artist under his command? Having been in the entertainment industry for so many years, I am already a veteran, but I actually fell in love with a little girl at first sight. I also felt sad for others. It's really a shame for him. If he hadn't brought this little kid up with his own hands and developed feelings for him after so many years, he really wouldn't want to care about him anymore. Tu Yuli clenched his unclenched fists again, pursed his lips, and remained silent. Able to pick up and put down. He used to be such a person. But now, can he really be able to take it up and let it go? If he says he doesn't like her, then he doesn't like her. He can't do it. Last night, he thought he could do it. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 695. Chapter 695, as a single person, it's normal for you not to know. But the moment he saw her, he knew that he might not be able to do it. Asterisk. The other side. Arrived at the airport. After getting out of the car, Moyesi's outstanding appearance and tall figure attracted a lot of attention to him. The man was dressed in black clothes and black trousers, with extremely handsome appearance and cold temperament, and his whole body was filled with a strong aura of asceticism. From several meters away, you can feel the indifferent aura of keep away from strangers emanating from him. But he was such a cold-looking man, wearing a pink leather cord on one of his exposed wrists. It is still a pink leather rope with a bow. At first glance, it is what girls use. But now, it is tied to a man's wrist. What this means is self-evident. Some girls who were secretly filming Moyesi with their mobile phones were shocked when they took pictures of the pink leather rope. Such a top-notch handsome guy actually has a master. I really want to know what his girlfriend looks like. How could he control such a cold man? It can also make him willing to wear a small rubber band on his wrist. This man must really like his girlfriend. Others were staring at the small rubber band on Moyesi's wrist, and Wei Zhen was also staring at it. As he looked at it, he suddenly felt something was wrong. When he looked up, he saw his boss, Mr. Mo, looking at him expressionlessly. Wei Zheng immediately trembled and quickly looked away. Ahem, Mr. Mo, this little rubber band that the young lady gave you, is quite nice. He was just looking for a random topic. Unexpectedly, after listening to his words, Mo Yesi curled his lips and nodded. My wife gave it to me. Of course it looks good. Do you know what this rubber band represents? Wei Zheng looked confused and shook his head. How does he know? He never wore it. Moreover, it's impossible for him to wear such a girly thing on his hand. Of course, he only dared to mutter these words in his heart and did not have the courage to say them out. No matter how girly the thing is, it was given to Mr. Mo by the young lady. Seeing how Mr. Mo likes it, if he dares to say something bad, Mr. Mo will definitely send him to country F to dig coal immediately. It feels so scary just thinking about it. Mo Yesi gave him a look of disdain. As a single person, it's normal for you not to know. Wei Zheng. Meow meow meow. Why did you start attacking him while you were talking? What's wrong with singles? Do single people have to be ridiculed, laughed at, and looked down upon by others? It's not like he can't find a girlfriend. He just hasn't found a woman he likes yet. His name is It's better to be lacking than to be in vain. Mr. Mo, I don't know that I'm single, so can you tell me? What does this rubber band mean? Thinking of the generous monthly salary and various benefits that make other colleagues drool with envy, Wei Zheng thought in his heart. He cursed for a while, but his face was filled with smiles. Possession. Mo Yesi curled his lips, with a bit of pride in his eyes. This is the mark she left on me. By wearing this rubber band, no other woman will covet me. She must care about me and be particularly afraid of me. Another woman seduced me, so I was asked to wear this leather belt. Wei Zheng, tell me, does your young lady like me particularly? That's why you are so worried about me. Wei Zheng. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 696. Chapter 696, Having a woman by my side is actually pretty good. Mo Yesi was quite satisfied with this answer, and the corners of his lips curved with pleasure. I guess so. However, she actually thinks too much. What should she worry about? I will never have anyone else except her in my life, woman. Even without this little rubber band, she doesn't have to worry about anything. Yes, except for the young madam, Mr. Mo will never look at other women. Mr. Mo only has young madam in his heart, and the young madam doesn't need to worry about anything. Wei Zheng flattered her skillfully. But if she's worried, then I'll put this on this way, she'll feel a lot more at ease. Mo Yesi lowered his head and looked at the small pink leather cord on his wrist. The more he looked at it, the more he liked it. The more he looked at it, the more he liked it. He decided that he would wear it all the time. Wei Zheng maintained the fake smile on his face, but his facial expression was a bit stiff. Yes, this way, the young lady should feel safer. Wei Zheng, how old are you this year? Mo Yesi suddenly changed the subject. This topic made Wei Zheng a little confused. It took him a while to realize it, but he still replied with a confused look on his face, Mr. Mo, I am 26 this year. Mr. Mo suddenly asked him what he was doing because of his age. 26, Mo Yesi paused for a moment, turned his head and glanced at him, his eyes a little meaningful. Yes, Mr. Mo, is there any problem? Mo Yesi was silent for a few seconds with half-squinted eyes, and then said to him in a serious tone, you are not too young now, it's time to consider finding a girlfriend. If you meet the right one, you can give it a try. Mo Yesi sounded like someone who had been there before, and he didn't know what he was thinking of. He slightly raised his lips and said, there is a woman by my side who is actually pretty good. Wei Zheng. Oh my god, he heard that right. Mr. Mo, who wouldn't care about his family if it wasn't related to him, even if the sky was about to fall, was actually trying to persuade him to find a girlfriend. Isn't this something only his mother's generation likes to do? His wise and powerful Mr. Mo has become like the neighborhood committee ant. He started to worry about his emotional affairs. This kind of Mr. Mo is so strange and scary. Mr. Mo, are you serious? Wei Zheng swallowed. Mo Yesi looked at him with half-squinted eyes. When have I ever joked with you? You can tell me what type of woman you like. You are my assistant, and I will not treat you badly. When the time comes, I will ask people to find several quality women for you to choose from. Wei Zheng, Mr. Mo, I don't want to fall in love just yet. I just want to do my work well now. As for emotional matters, I'll think about it in a few years. If falling in love will make a person completely unlike himself, then it's better not to talk about it for now. He thinks this kind of love is quite scary. Watching the various changes in his family, Mr. Mo, he really has no interest in falling in love at all. It's up to you. Mo Yesi didn't say anything more, nodded and said, whenever you want to talk, tell me and I'll find someone to introduce you. Thank you, Mr. Mo. Asterisk. The shooting that day went very smoothly. I don't know if it was because Bai Yusheng defended Jiao Mian in public yesterday. In short, when she acted opposite Huang Yilin again, Huang Yilin did not make any intentional mistakes in her performance. Although Jiao Mian is a newcomer, she has a certain talent in acting. Even though his acting skills are a bit raw, when he plays, his whole person is full of aura. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 697. Chapter 697, after a few days of contact, I probably won't be interested anymore. This kind of aura is something that many actors with great abilities don't have. Even though her acting skills are raw and not as smooth as Huang Yilin and others, the aura of her performance is already very attractive. While watching her act, Bai Yusheng seemed a little excited. On the day of the audition, he immediately took a liking to Jiao Mianmian's appearance and the rare aura in her body. I think her appearance is very consistent with the setting of the third female lead in the play. So, he settled on her without even seeing how good her acting ability was. He believes in his own vision. Some people are born to act and are born to be actors. He felt this way the first time he saw Jiao Mian. Facts proved that he was indeed right. Jiao Mianmian's role as the third female lead cannot be said to be small, but it is definitely not many. After the filming of her scene was completed, Bai Yusheng went to the screenwriter and asked the screenwriter to add more scenes to Jiao Mian. This matter was soon known to Huang Yilin. In the nanny's car, Huang Yilin was so angry that she pushed away the fruit brought by her assistant and smashed her cell phone to the ground with a pop. She pinched her palms hard with her dark red nails, bit her lips tightly, and gritted her teeth angrily. That vixen, director Bai has never done such a thing for any female artist, and he actually asked the screenwriter to do it for her. Why should she? She is just the third female lead. Does director Bai want to promote her to the leading female lead and support her alone? In fact, Huang Yilin already felt threatened when she acted opposite Jiao Mian yesterday. It was just a scene of a few minutes. Speaking of which, the performance of that scene was not very difficult. But Jiao Mian, a newcomer, can actually get through it in one go, which already explains a lot of problems. Bai Yusheng is a very demanding person. Even if it is a simple scene, it will not be very simple when it comes to him. Under normal circumstances, Jiao Mian would have to go NG at least 3 times. Today's rivalry scene will test your acting skills more and take a little longer. Huang Yilin can also feel her acting skills more clearly when she plays opposite Jiao Mian. To her, Chiao Mianmian's acting skills were certainly not particularly good, and there were several mistakes today, not all at once like yesterday. But Huang Yilin still felt the crisis. Chiao Mianmian is still a newcomer. It is normal to make mistakes and immature performances. But she saw the aura of performance in a new person, which was abnormal. She knew very well what the aura on Chiao Mianmian's body represented. Sister Yilin, calm down. No matter how much Director Bai adds more scenes to her, it's impossible for her to get past you. It's probably because she used some foxy trick to force Director Bai to add more scenes to her. Director Bai, she was also beaten to the point of being helpless. Director Bai will definitely get tired of a woman like this in a few days. By then, Sister Yilin, you can deal with her however you want. Huang Yilin raised her head and looked at her assistant. In a few days, Director Bai will get tired of her. Definitely, the assistant said kindly with a smile on her face. Think about it, how many men would like this kind of woman who takes the initiative to ask for things? She only has a pretty good face to be attracted to her. Director Bai took a fancy to it. But, how long can a man be fresh just by looking good? Especially a picky man like Director Bai. After only a few days of contact, he will probably lose interest. There is one more chapter to be updated in the morning. I'm so tired, I'm going to bed. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 698. Chapter 698. Apart from that face, what else does she have left? The assistant's words made Huang Yilin feel a lot more comfortable. Yes, Bai Yusheng is a very picky man. Otherwise, with so many female stars in the entertainment industry trying to seduce him, how come none of them succeeded? They say he is the most difficult man in the industry. So far, no woman has been able to take him down. Even if he wanted to have with him, he wouldn't give him a chance. That Chiao Mianmian just has a foxy face, and that face can indeed seduce men. But apart from that face, what else does she have left? Even if she hooked up with Bai Yusheng because of her appearance, it is impossible for Bai Yusheng to have long-term interest in a woman like this who has no other shining points except her face. He will certainly get bored quickly. Thinking of this, Huang Yilin felt more and more comfortable, and the suffocation that had been stuck in her chest was suddenly released. For now, she would just let that vixen be proud for a few more days. When Bai Yusheng gets tired of that little vixen, she will take care of her. Let her know the consequences of fighting for a man with her, Huang Yilin. And the other side. Without a nanny car, Chiao Mianmian could only hide under a big tree to enjoy the shade. She had almost finished shooting today's scenes, but Huang Yilin and Tu Yili still had a few scenes. The main characters were not finished filming, and they and the supporting actors could not leave either. Sister Mianmian, your performance just now was great. Although Huang Yilin is considered an old man in the industry and has won the Best Actress award, when you acted opposite her just now, you didn't lose to her at all. After you took the photo, I think her face looked quite ugly. She probably thought she could beat you in acting, but you turned out to be so good, so she felt uncomfortable. Nana handed a bottle of water to Chiao Mianmian, and then handed her a tissue to wipe the sweat from her face. Chiao Mianmian took the water, unscrewed the bottle cap and took a long sip. He took a tissue and wiped the sweat stains off his face one by one. While she was wiping her sweat, Nana sat next to her, resting her head on her hands, staring at her intently. Chiao Mianmian felt uncomfortable. She turned her head to look at Nana, touched her face with her hand, and blinked. Is the makeup on my face smudged? No. Nana shook her head. Then what are you looking at? Chiao Mianmian touched her face again, took out her phone and took a photo, but didn't see anything on her face. Nana stared at her with eyes full of envy and amazement. She sighed and said, Sister Mianmian, seeing you, I finally know what the so-called natural beauty is. Sister Mianmian, you are so beautiful. I am a woman who is about to fall in love with you. Chiao Mian Mian. Sister Mian Mian, why do you have such good skin? Nana was extremely envious. Most of the female stars in the entertainment industry have good skin. Originally, the appearance of anyone who eats this bowl of rice will not be bad. Whether it is figure, appearance, or skin, they will be much better than ordinary people. But Jiao Mian Mian definitely has the best skin among all the female artists she has ever seen. It is also the one with the most exquisite and beautiful facial features. Looking closely, her skin was as fair and delicate as a shelled egg, with no pores visible. It's like a layer of skin has been rubbed all over the body. And her skin is very white. White and tender skin is really what she dreams of. Looking at this body of white and tender skin like cream, even she had the urge to touch it, let alone those men. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 699. Chapter 699, Were you not injured anywhere? Thinking of this, Nana couldn't help but say, Sister Mian Mian, your boyfriend must be so happy. Chiao Mian Mian didn't react for a while, and asked curiously, why? Nana's eyes fell directly on her white and tender chest. You are so thin, but you are still a C cup, and your body is still soft to the touch. Chiao Mian Mian's face suddenly became hot, and she said with embarrassment and annoyance, Nana, you pervert. What I said is true, Nana said with an innocent expression. Sister Mian Mian, you are so beautiful, even a woman like me wants to sleep with you, let alone your man. It's a pity that she gave birth to a girl despite her skills in flirting with girls. Hearing Nana's words become more and more explicit, Chiao Mian Mian pretended to hit her. Damn Nana, what are you thinking about all day long? Sister Mian Mian, I am telling the truth. Nana ducked away with a smile. Don't you dare to say that your boyfriend doesn't think so? If he doesn't think so, he is not a normal man. However, he is not normal. Sister Mian Mian, you must know best. He. Damn Nana, don't hide. Chiao Mian Mian stood up angrily and chased after Nana. Nana ducked away with a smile. The two of them were running and the other was chasing each other. As they ran, Chiao Mian Mian suddenly bumped into someone. She bumped into the other person's arms and bumped her nose into the other person's hard chest, which made her eyes red all of a sudden. Well. She covered her red nose and took a step back. Just as she was about to raise her head to apologize, she heard a familiar voice coming from above her head. Miss Chiao, are you okay? It's Tu Yuli. Chiao Mian Mian frowned, covered her nose and raised her head. The person standing in front of her is Tu Yuli, isn't it? Seeing her holding her nose and looking uncomfortable, Tu Yuli's face and eyes were filled with nervousness. Miss Chiao, does it hurt? Is it injured somewhere? Chiao Mian Mian deliberately avoided Tu Yuli today. On the one hand, she was really afraid of his agent. On the other hand, she is also really afraid of his wife fans and girlfriend fans. Tu Yuli's wife's fan and his girlfriend's fan started fighting each other. It's really scary. She is a newcomer with no reputation at all, and she will definitely be torn to the point of doubting her life. Although what his agent said was not very nice, Chiao Mian Mian still listened to a few words. She really should stay away from Tu Yuli. So apart from the unavoidable contact with him when he was acting opposite, Chiao Mian Mian did not have any communication with him at other times today. Whether it's in the eyes or in the language. She didn't expect that she would bump into Tu Yuli again after avoiding him like that. I'm fine. Chiao Mian Mian made up her mind to keep a distance from him, so she didn't want to have too much communication with him. She stretched out her hand to rub her nose and took a step back. Sorry, Mr. Tu, I bumped into you just now. Tuyuli naturally felt her deliberate alienation. Disappointment flashed in the man's eyes, and his heart seemed to be stabbed by something, but he smiled as usual and said, "It's okay. You weren't hurt anywhere, were you?" Chiao Mian shook her head, "I'm fine too." End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 700. Chapter 700. Miss Chiao, are you okay? She looked past him, pretending to be looking for someone. When she saw Nana in front of her, she immediately walked towards Nana as if she was seeing a savior. Maybe I was walking too fast, and I didn't see a stone under my feet, so I stepped on it and my feet suddenly slipped. Seeing that she was about to fall to the ground, Tuyuli hurriedly stepped forward to help her. Due to inertia, Chiao Mian ran into his arms again. Tuyuli also habitually supported her waist. Under normal circumstances, he should let go after Chiao Mian stood firm. But the moment he let go, he felt a little reluctant to let go. The girl's soft and fragrant body was leaning against his arms, and the sweet fragrance kept entering his nose. He didn't dare to use too much force when he hugged her, because he was afraid that if the force was just a little too strong, her waist would be broken. She looked so petite. The small one rested in his arms, until it reached a little higher than his chest. His one arm could completely enclose her in his arms. Tuyuli's ideal girlfriend is this kind of girl who is petite, and looks very petty and clinging to others. Makes him very protective. Chiao Mian is not only his type in terms of appearance, but also his type in height and figure. Even the sweet fragrance exuding from her body is the one he likes. His fingers touched the soft and slender waist of the girl in his arms, causing him to tremble uncontrollably, and his heartbeat was incredibly fast. How could there be such a girl? In every aspect, he looks the way he likes. He had never believed in love at first sight before. But now, he believes it. It turns out that there really is such a person in this world, and you will fall in love with her just by looking at him. Then, I liked her more and more. I like to come, I think about it day and night, all the time. Every minute and every second, I can't help but think about her. But why did God arrange such a person for him and let her belong to another person? Mr. Tu, let me go. Chiao Mian bumped into Tuyuli's arms again, hitting his head on his chest, which was as strong as a stone, making her dizzy for a while. It took a while for her to recover. When she found that Tuyuli's hand was still on her waist, a strange emotion flashed through her heart, and she stretched out her hand to push him. This time, Tuyuli came back to his senses and regained his sanity. "I'm sorry, Miss Chiao, are you okay?" Tuyuli immediately let go of his hand and took a step back. The hand around Chiao Mian's waist tightened little by little, he pursed his lips, took a deep breath, and tried his best to suppress some of the emotions that were about to pour out of his eyes. He knew that he had just lost his composure. He did something very ungentlemanly. He would actually do things to take advantage of others. Chiao Mian suppressed the strange emotion in her heart and shook her head. That's good. Tuyuli found that he was increasingly unable to control his emotions, which made him feel panic, a sense of fear and panic that many things were beyond his control and that he could no longer control them. This feeling made him suddenly want to escape. Since Miss Chiao is fine, I will take the first step. After hastily saying this, Tuyuli turned around and left in a hurry. "Sister Mian, are you okay?" Nana returned, turned her head and glanced at Tuyuli who had left. She frowned, and some speculations that she had forgotten resurfaced from the bottom of her heart. End of this chapter.